Good day everyone, Justin Brazil here again from BSED Science 1A. My topic covers the RA 10121 and its implementing rules and regulations from 17 to 20. So what are we waiting for? Let's hop into our first lesson, first topic. So in the Rule 17, it says about the penal cause, or to the uh, it refers to the penalties of a violator. Section 1, penalties violators of Section 19 may be fined between 50,000 pesos and 500,000 pesos. So hindi po tataas sa 500 pesos at hindi rin po bababa sa 50,000 pesos, and a violator could be imprisoned for 6 to 12 years or both. So it could be possessed both from 6 to 12 years, and also public officers may lose their position permanently, and any tools used in the crime will be confiscated. So going back, if a violator or if someone violates the Section 19, or the penalties violate, or if someone violates the Section 19, anyone, even if it is an official, it could be still be punished by this rule. This also says that hindi lang po nakadepende pa rin po sa korte yung magiging sitwasyon ng isang violator. And as you can see also there, it was said that public officers may lose their position permanently, and any tools used in the crime will be confiscated. Next is we have here the Section 2 of the Rule 17, which is again penal cause pa. Liability, or synonymous word like accountability. For corporations or entities, the responsible officers are penalized and licenses may be revoked. So if corporation or entities yung lumabag sa batas, yung makukunan or yung mapepenalize ay yung mga officers na responsible or working onto that corporations or entities, and licenses may be revoked. Pwede bawiin yung lisensya dahil sa pag-violate ng section na ito. Foreign offenders can be deported after serving their sentence. Foreign offenders, or what we call the aliens, they are also part of this, or they are also can be also a violator from this if they don't abide it, if they don't follow it. So just like on the screen have said, they will be deported after serving their sentence. Next we have here the section 3, other liabilities. So there are still other liabilities that a violator could have. Violations of Section 19 do not exempt, just like what I've said earlier, individuals from facing charges under the revised penal code, or other laws and civil liabilities still apply. So lahat po, maski man po ito ay nasa mataas na ranggo, maski man po ito ay isang owner ng company, maski man po ito ay CEO, maski man po ito ay isang civilian lang, he or she could be punished or could be penalized if he or she don't abide this section or this law. Yun po yung mangyayari. We have here the rule number 18, Local Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund, or LDRR MF. So when we talk about local, it refers to the specific or a town. So here, section 1, utilization of LDRRMF. So the utilization, at least 5% of the local revenue is allocated to the LDRRMF for disaster risk reduction management activities overseen by the LDRRMC, and it may be transferred to other areas in a state of a calamity. So yung taxes, what we call the local revenue, this could be the taxes that was collected, or that were collected. At least 5% ibibigay sa LDRRM or the local disaster risk reduction and management, because this will be used if there are risk management activities, or there are risk management activities, there are appropriations. It could be also a source of need if there are disasters that arise. This could be get used of. Next, we have here the Section 2 Quick Response Fund QRF. 30% of the LDRRMF is reserved as an QRF for immediate relief and recovery in disaster-affected communities. So beyond that, meron pa po tayong 30% for the LDRRMF, which we called the QRF or Quick Response Fund, which is 30% of the LDRRMF is reserved kung ilan man yung meron na yung LDRRMF na nakuha. They should set aside a 30% for a relief and recovery in disaster. For example, sa barangay Santarin, if roon ng bagyo, and then this team would help by supporting relief and recovery. Relief, this includes the goods na pwedeng ibigay sa mga taong tumitira doon o naapektuhan ng bagyo, lindol, o kahit ano pa mang uri ng disaster. Section 3 is Section 3 on the Special Trust Fund means that any unused funds allocated for a specific purpose or project by the local government are not immediately absorbed or wasted. Instead, they are kept in a special trust account for up to 5 years. Postscript: if the funds remain unused after 5 years, they are no longer received for the original purpose and are transferred to the fund where they can be used for other local government expenses. The Section 4 guidelines on fund tracking and utilization of fund. So the use of funds must strictly adhere to exist auditing and accounting rules to ensure proper management and accountability. This guarantees that funds are tracked, recorded, and utilized transparently, preventing misuse and ensuring compliance with legal standards. And in Section 5, public disclosure of fund utilization, all funds utilization report must be accessible to the public to promote transparency and accountability. Whenever possible, these reports should also be published online to provide easier access to stakeholders and the community. So lahat po ng ito ay may kagagawan sa accountability, and this should also be aware to the public. This should be published. National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund, or the NDRM Fund. So right now we're talking about the national form, or basically the Philippines of its Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund. And it says there that the Section 1 utilization of the NDRM is now, from the past it was called the Calamity Fund, but now it then be called as the NDRM Fund, used for disaster risk reduction, preparedness, and recovery activities, including training, equipment, procurement, and services. So just like on the LDRRMF, this has to be the same with the national. It includes there the preparedness, recovery activities that should be executed, that should be prepared by as a part of the NDRRM. Section 2, it tells us about the amount. A specific amount and recipient agencies will be determined by the President of the Philippines. So it says there, based on the NDRRM's recommendation. So yung amount po na ibibigay sa NDRRM as NDRRM fund ay will be determined by the president. So president pa rin po yung magdidetermine, and kung ilan yung pera na pwedeng ibigay o allocate sa NDRRM. It is also based on its recommendation. Take note, ito po ay nakadepende dahil yung NDRRM fund, this could be also save up to from national to local. For example, in a place na may flooding, so bibigyan po yan ng budget coming from the NDRRMF. Next, Quick Response Fund. Just like what I've said earlier, it is the 30% that is allocated as a quick response fund for the designated agencies. And let's go on to section number 4, accounting. Agencies and local government units or LGUs receiving DRRM fund must submit monthly utilization statements to the NDRRMC. So lahat po, just like what I said earlier, yung mga nabibigyan po, yung mga local government po na nabibigyan ng NDRRM funds ay dapat mag-submit ng monthly utilization for transparency, adhering to accounting rules. The section 5, the funding of the RRM projects. Government agencies are authorized to allocate part of their budgets for DRM projects per guidelines from the NDRMs and the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM. That's it. Good day again. I'm Justin Brazil from BSED Science 1A, and today we are in the lesson 2 of my topic, which focus mainly on the wound, fracture, suffocation, and its basic first aid, respectively. Okay, first, we have here the lesson objectives or the learning objectives. Explain the nature and types of wounds, fractures, and suffocation, including their common causes. Basic first aid techniques for handling wounds, fractures, and suffocation effectively, and emphasize the importance of timely and proper first aid saving lives and preventing harm. So these learning objectives would be part after this lesson. Kasi po ma-apply na po natin after natin malaman yung lesson na ito sa ating totoong buhay. We have here first the wound. Let's break it down na po. A wound is a break or damage to the skin where underlying tissues caused by an external force such as a cut, scrape, puncture, or tear. Basically, sa Tagalog, yung wound, ito po yung sugat. Sugat. Yung sugat could be an open or closed. Open wound, these are wounds na kapag lumabas na yung dugo mismo sa skin mo. These are what we call the open wounds. Next is we have the closed wound, which means na yung nangyayari ito mismo doon sa loob mo without tearing or cutting it na para lumabas yung dugo. Instead, nasa loob po ito ng skin mo pa. So, an example for this are bruises, yung mga pasa po. Okay? So, next, we have here the open wound. Open wound break the skin surface, exposing underlying tissues and allowing blood to escape the body. For example, these are examples rather of an open wound, like the tearing apart of your skin or cutting. Plus one, carbonate circus without a visible break in the skin. So you can see in the picture there is a difference between these two types of wound. We have here the basic first aid. Of course, you need to stop the bleeding first. You should clean the wound after, dress the wound, and went to seek medical help. You should stop the bleeding, of course, para hindi magkalat yung dugo. Hindi magkalat yung dugo. And maybe that could also be a factor for you na baka lumayo ka lang when you try to get a basic first aid of this type of an injury. Next is you should clean the wound. Of course, when you stop the bleeding, you clean the wound. Okay? And you dress the wound. How could you dress the wound? So you can basically use cloth or any thing that could not worsen the state of the wound. And of course, if you don't know to do this basic first aid, you should seek medical help or medical professionals. So they will be the one who will execute this aid. So we are here again with another topic, the fracture or fractures. A fracture is a break or crack in a bone caused by trauma, overuse, or underlying medical conditions. I would like to emphasize the word here, the overuse. So, normally or basically, obviously, kapag na we overuse to use lower part of our body, especially in the lower part of our body, and also kapag hindi used yung mga body mo sa nag-join ka, for example, basketball, hindi ka used, so ganun po yung nangyayari. It tends to break or crack. So, and we have here the classification of fractures, but later on you will see the types of fracture, and we will also dipping into the first aid of the fracture. Let's see the definition of this two, and then the types of fractures. So the open fracture, bone breaks but doesn't pierce the skin. So an example here is here in the picture, as you can see, lumabas na po yung bone niya, which is basically parang um yung isang tao lalayo ka talaga kapag nakita mo yung bone na lumabas na mismo sa skin. Okay, so that's the open fracture. Next is we have the closed fracture. Bone breaks and pierces through the skin. So nangyayari po yung pag pag pag-break or pag-pierce mismo sa loob ng skin. Ito naman yung isa, doesn't pierce the skin. Dun po sa labas kasi nangyayari yung fracture or break ng bone. Okay. So, normally, we obviously know this one, the two differences of these two classification of fracture. So, these types of fractures, hairline, oblique na displaced, linear, comminuted, spiral, or segmental. As you can see, the differences between these types of fracture is that kung paano sila nangyayari. For example, the spiral, so it's like circulation. Yung hairline naman, normally lang, yung normal. So that's it. Yung segmental naman, literal na, bali talaga yung bone mo. So you can see in the picture, please refer to the picture nyo. We have here the basic first aid of fracture. First is immobilize the area. How can you immobilize the area? So, first of all, you should get stick or newspapers or anything na hindi magkokos ng mag-worsen doon sa bone na na-break, especially if it is an open fracture. Let's be practical na lang po. Kapag ito po ay open fracture, kailangan po maging maigi tayo sa gagawin natin. Okay, so we could use newspapers, so that this will help. Try not just to realign the bone from the original position, kasi po obviously masasaktan yung nabalian or na-break ng bone, and also maybe it could worsen the condition. Maybe mag-blood flow lang po, marami yung lumabas na dugo. Next is check for circulation. Normally within 2 seconds yung lumalabas po yung normal blood flow, which is red, right? And also, avoid food or drinks. Kapag po nabalian na, wag muna po nating pakainin pa or painumin pa. Because if the person or if yung nabalian is advised na pumunta sa hospital, he or she is needed to take anesthesia para magkaroon ng surgery. Next is apply cold packs if necessary. Nandun pa. You can use cold. For example, if you have ice, you can use ice for 15 to 20 minutes. Huwag po muna directly na ilagay natin yung ice mismo doon sa area or region ng place na nabalian. So, 15 to 20 minutes and then tanggalin uli, reapply uli from 20 minutes.
Next, we have the suffocation. What is suffocation? Suffocation occurs when the flow of oxygen to lungs is restricted, triggered often due to choking on food or objects, drowning, exposure to toxic gases or smoke, or compression of the chest or neck. In suffocation, emergencies, quick and appropriate action can save a life. And remember to stay calm, assess the situation, and apply the correct first aid techniques. So in suffocation, nagtitrigger po yung suffocation kapag tayo ay kumain at nag-choke tayo, referring on the presentation, or drowning, or even kapag tayo ay nag-inhale ng mga toxic gases, or even smokes. That is suffocation.